Hello, hello. Good evening po sa inyong mga homeschoolers. Kamusta na po? It's Friday and it's homeschool night. Marami pong salamat. Hi, Rez. Wow, ang aga mo. 7:33, 7:34. Nasa YouTube ka na. Maraming salamat. Thank you for gracing our show always every Friday. Thank you so much, Rez. Kamusta ka na? Kumain ka na ba? But anyway, before we start, lagi ko pong sinasabi yung disclaimer, no? Nagpapasalamat po ako for this opportunity, for this platform, that we could be able to share to you our experiences in homeschooling na hopefully po ay makatulong po sa inyo, but we don't, force you na, hey, gawin niyo po yung ginagawa namin. So every content, every information po na ginagawa po namin dito is we make sure that it's gonna be a blessing to you, but if doesn't works for you, it's okay din po. Okay. Maraming pong salamat sa pakikinig. Okay. And I just want to remind you na hindi lang po tayo live sa Facebook, but live din po tayo sa YouTube. So, no matter what, okay, sometimes kasi po sa Facebook, hi Del, napupush down siya yung mga content na ginagawa namin, yung po yung napapansin namin. So, we make sure that we are live also in YouTube na anytime you could be able to also check it out. Okay. So you just type in the keyword and you'll be able to get the topic that you like under that. Hi Del, hi Angel. Maraming salamat for always supporting us and Chinky. Thank you so much. Good evening. Okay. Alam ko, no, time is really precious nowadays. Okay, at hindi natin na-realize, sometimes po, hindi na natin alam kung anong araw, di ba? Hi, Mina. Good evening. Hoya. Hello, Novinatics. Thank you so much. Hello, hello. So, I just want to introduce to you our guest tonight kasi madami akong tanong sa kanya dahil alam kong madami po ako matututunan sa kanya. Okay. Ate Felichi and her husband, Dr. Jojo Buizon, like to be called parents in progress. They took the homeschool plunge back in the 90s, early on as the main facilitator of her children's learning. Ate Felici realized that it was she who was being homeschooled. Also, a regular host of the 700 Club Asia, she experienced how grace was indeed available, which each day in homeschooling day. Finding the journey of learning together with her children is so rewarding to her. Felici shared this experience with her sister, Ate Donna Pangilinan, and both of them become advocates of homeschooling and strong believers of play-based learning, integrating music, fun, and positivity in the learning environment. With their family motto, okay, ang ganda ng family motto nila, we shall reap if we faint not. Ate Felici and her husband, Dr. Jo, are now proud parents of 4 blessings who seek to bless others. Wow! Thank you so much, Ate Felici, for gracing. So without further ado, may we call on Ate Felici Buizon.
Hello.
Hi, Ate.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome
Good evening
to iHomeschool. Thank you for inviting me, Nove. Thank you.
Yes. Alam niyo po, na-meet ko po si Ate Felici way back, siguro more than 10 years ago, in a home library in Tomas Morato. And no, at that time, I think, siguro more than 5 years ka na rin nag-homeschool noon eh, no?
Maybe.
So, yeah. And siya yung una ko na-meet bago si Ate Donna. And nakakatuwa lang how God was able to bridge our lives together. Nakakatuwa, talagang perfect timing. And ito yung talagang masasabi ko, sila yung guro. Sila yung how to be you po. Madami pa akong kakainin na bigas on that end. How to be you po. And I learned a lot from them. And kaya I just want to share to you guys. Sige, Angel, Del, madami actually single dito, ate, na nakikinig din sa atin.
Okay.
Also, there are also our followers from Happy Wife, Happy Life, from Chinky also, which is Chink Positive as well. Hello, Mary Grace Baba. Hello. I'm just saying hi to everyone. So before we start, okay, ate, Ano yung, well, when you started, that was like how many years ago? How many
Ay,
years have you been homeschooling?
medyo ilang dekada na yon. Actually, I'm I'm not I only started homeschooling again this year, Novean, kasi my youngest, who is grade 10 now, I pulled him out of regular school to homeschool him because of the pandemic. Okay. So,
Oh.
but prior, mga 4 years na akong hindi nag-homeschool. So, which means my kids were in regular school already. Now, meron na akong, itong mga anak ko, that was many, many years ago, that was still in the, siguro, early 2000. Yeah, early 2000. Siguro mga 2004. Yan. So, I started homeschooling in 1996, 97, when my eldest girl was about 3.5. 3.5. So, and then nasundan siya ng boy. That's Talitha and Joshua. Yan, they're painting with their dad. Okay, uh,
Oh.
so parang naging dalawa na yung hino-homeschool ko, 'di ba? So that was in the 90s. I was so afraid, no, Bean, because mabibilang mo lang sa kamay mo kung ilan yung nag-homeschool during that time, 'di ba?
Yun
So,
nga. So, how did you go to that path? I mean, syempre at that time, parang it's like, hindi ko masasabing taboo, but not everyone is doing it. It's really a new
yes,
thing at that time.
yes.
How?
How? Okay. So we were invited to a orientation. Okay. We were going to, it was called a homeschool orientation. So we were curious. Actually, I was pregnant pa lang that time. So parang we said, maybe it's the best time to know about it, diba? So that we can plan ahead. So what we did, we went to that orientation. And then what struck me was, the testimony of the children who were homeschooled. Okay, they were already in college and they were talking about being homeschooled, and their testimonies were they were academic achievers in college, and they were also leaders in extracurricular. So I was so impressed, and then the speaker shared with us a definition of success, Novean, that I never encountered before. Kasi
Mm.
I grew up in a family that was very achievement oriented. Okay, so I felt that success was something that we achieved ourselves, right? And it was like parang something that you're able to hurdle. So nag-succeed ka doon, yung parang ganon. Pero yung definition doon was success is being able to raise children who want to please the Lord, and who want to be positive
Oh.
contributors to
Uh-huh.
society. So when
Mhm.
I heard that, I was totally, parang sabi ko, wait a minute. Sabi ko, why am I thinking differently? When I feel, parang siguro nanay ako, I had a baby in my womb. Sabi ko, that's what I want for my kid. Sabi ko, that's what I want. I want to be able to raise children who love the Lord. Sabi ko, kasi if you love the Lord, you will make wise choices, 'di ba? So yon. So naantig ang puso ko. So when we had our firstborn, medyo I started researching now on what homeschooling was and everything, but I was still very afraid, takot, because I've never, no one, I didn't know anybody except for the one in the orientation that homeschooled. But then again, when you pray about something and you feel that you're being led to do something, grabe, everything starts falling into place. I started to ask about it. And that was the time in the 90s where nagma-mushroom na lahat ng mga preschool. 'Di ba? Yung nagkakaroon ng daming preschools all over the place. Nasabi ko, wait a minute. I went to school when I was 5 years old. Bakit yung iba 4, 3
Wow.
pumapasok na? 'Di ba? Yung parang
Totoo.
na ano ko. So the more I wanted to know what I was doing, if what I was doing was the right thing for me and for my family. So yon, I discovered more and more na may advantage talaga. na I don't have to start early, that early, kasi nga, hindi pa sila ready eh. I found out during that time, Novean, na those who were doing very well in school, syempre nag-research ako sa internet, ganyan, na nakita ko it was the students from Finland who were really doing very well. Okay? So, I sort of sabi ko, bakit ang gagaling nila? Bakit tinatap nila yung mga testing, the tests globally? So, I found out, unang-una was they don't have formal schooling until before the age of 7. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, magpa-formal schooling lang sila at 7. Diba? And sabi ko, wait a minute, bakit ganon? Kasi, ang kanilang philosophy is the child has to be physically ready, and emotionally ready. Physically meaning, hindi pa nakakahawak ng pencil at ballpen yung bata ng maigi when they're much younger. Eh. So, ang ano nila is they are sort of timing the learning with the development of the body, diba? So medyo nakahinga ako ng konti. Sabi ko, hindi ko kailangan madaliin yung 3-year-old ko. At that time kasi, I wanted to homeschool kasi ang daldal na nung anak ko eh, my daughter. She was so articulate and parang she wanted to know so many things. So I felt like I need to, spend some time and just allow her to learn. And yun, so that's how the journey started. There.
So how does Doc responded on that decision?
Oh yeah, because we were together in the orientation, I am so thankful that he also agreed. Kasi importante yon eh. Importante yon, no, Vean, na you have the support of your spouse. Kasi para when the going gets tough, di ba? You're on the same page. Kasi mahirap kapag magkaiba kayo eh, and then you're constantly fighting and arguing whether it's good for the child or not, di ba? So I'm really thankful that he was for it. Yon. Sabi ko lang sa kanya, tulungan mo ako sa Pilipino ha? Kasi hindi ako magaling sa Pilipino, sabi ko during that time. So I'm just thankful.
At that time ba, you have like, umi-echo ata ako. Umi-echo ba? You hear me echoing? Hello, mic check.
Just a little bit. Hindi naman mas...
Okay. So, my question is, syempre at the time in your first 3 years, syempre, do you have a small group na? Like a support group or you started alone? Syempre at that time, wala pang masyadong madaming nag-homeschool.
Yes.
So how did you started? May provider na nun? Wala pa mga provider.
Wala pa. At that time, wala pang provider. So it was really my mentor who introduced me to homeschooling. She just gave me materials, okay? And then so based on her materials, I would just go to National Bookstore and get whatever I felt would benefit my child. Ganon. And then I just researched, and then I got to learn na nung una parang I was too excited to give a lot of information. When I realized hindi pala, dapat pala play at that age. The child will learn more, will benefit more from playing. So, nagbago tuloy yung aking approach, So, I decided to engage with my daughter because I'm very musical, so I included music in my curriculum. So I would teach her. I chose a curriculum that would teach the phonics with songs, di ba? So parang dahil gusto nung anak ko ng music, nagustuhan niya yung pag-aaral, di ba? Kasi we were learning letters and the sounds of letters using music. You see, so it was something that she enjoyed. And then ang ginawa ko nga lang at that time, Nove, was because I was working part time. I decided 3 times a week with my 3.5-year-old, only 45 minutes of uninterrupted
Oh.
45 minutes of uninterrupted time. Ang dami ng nakukuha ng bata, you know, if you just give that child your attention, your uninterrupted attention. So I think basically that's also what they do when they go to preschool. You know, they have about an hour of serious learning, but the rest is play and outdoor and and commuting, diba? Which makes it take up a lot of time. But at home,
Oo.
just at home, you have the flexibility of time. Kasi, di ba, sa bahay naman, wala nang falling in line, wala nang pass the paper, wala nang raise your hand, di ba? Well, all of those, di ba? So you have a lot of time to focus and to concentrate on learning and having fun. So, ganun yung ginawa namin. And I was so surprised after just 10 months, 45 minutes, 3 times a week, my daughter was already reading after that. So I said, wow, ganito pala, and then studies show kasi, Novean, that when a parent is involved in the studying or learning of a child, talagang may effect yon sa kanyang academic progress. So, for some
It's
reason,
true. Yeah. Ang nakakatuwa din sa homeschooling, not only the flexibility, but the freedom of what type of method you want to, the approach that you're doing. And playing and having fun, it will have a really good retention in the minds and in the hearts of the kids, no? Mas na-absorb nila yung kesa stress sila na puro worksheets,
correct.
puro, 'di ba? Ang
Age na
nakakatuwa kasi
appropriate talaga. Oo.
yes, yes. Alam mo sobrang palad ng mga parents nga ngayon. Ate, walang ganito na nag-uusap about what did you learn, yung gano'n. Sobrang, I have to say, medyo spoon feed sila. Tayo at
Yeah.
that time, talagang we research, we really ask, hindi naman, ang communication nun, hindi naman agad instant or immediately, di ba? And the goal there is, for me, one thing that I've learned in homeschooling is, you don't only discover your child, but you also discover yourself.
Yes. Kaya nga, di ba sabi ko, ako yung na-homeschool, ako yung
Oo.
na-homeschool. Yung kumbaga, talagang nakikita ko, kunyari, pag nakikita ko yung mga anak ko na, they're just enjoying and learning and just playing, and nare-rebuke ako eh. Kasi ako, many times, I'm worrying, I'm anxious, pero sila parang, they don't worry. Okay, they,
Yeah. Ang
you know,
galing.
talagang, sabi ko, they just trust talaga that mom and dad are gonna take care of their needs, and they're gonna take
Yes.
care of them. So ako yung natututo. Ako yung nagsabi, parang the Lord is telling me, ganyan, Felichi, you have to be childlike, ganyan, So
Yes.
many times, the Lord has used my children. Like my third daughter, Nove, I have this really nice story. I was masungit. I was in a bad mood and I snapped at her. Okay. And then talagang when I went to the room, I knew mali ako. Okay. And then
Wow.
before I was able to go and apologize, merong papel na lumusot dun sa ilalim ng pintuan. Okay?
Mm.
And she was very young, okay? And you know what she wrote there? She wrote in the way, yung kumbaga sinubukan niyang spell kasi hindi pa talaga siya marunong. That's what made it so meaningful. Okay? She slipped it under the door. It said, I love you. So, ILUVU, even though you are like that. Sabi niya, I love you even though you are like that. Sabi ba naman ng anak ko? So, I was so, talaga. Sabi ko, grabe. Talagang, sabi ko, ako ang tinuturuan ng anak ko. So, it's that kind of attitude that really helps us thrive as homeschooling parents, na we need to learn from them as well. Hindi pwedeng feeling mo ikaw lang may alam o ikaw lang ang tama, 'di ba? So we have to have that to be able to grow and to be able to learn, 'di ba? So yun. So talagang I know. I also wanted to add, Nove. Remember that picture you showed kanina
Yeah,
with
maybe we can show that again.
the
Hazel, the
train?
one with the plastic,
Yeah,
brick.
I just wanna share why play is important, especially at that age, nang maliliit pa sila. Actually, I was in the bathroom and then suddenly my daughter, Tani, started to call me. She was shouting and go, Mama, 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 sabi niya, I made a train. Sabi niya ganon.
Oh,
Okay? So when I went out, ayun, yung blocks niya, pinaghile-hilera niya. Train daw yon. Train. It's the very first time. And I was so excited. So I took a picture of it and everything. And this is an example of, kasi ang bata, di ba, Nove, they cannot reach the switch. They cannot reach the doorknob. The chairs are too high. I mean, everything is big. Okay? The world is big to our little toddlers and our little children. So they can feel very insecure because the world is so big. But when they're playing, they are the one that is big.
mm,
Sila yung bida. Sila yung malaki. Okay? So
yes.
every time they play, they feel a sense of competence na kaya nila. They're in a, kumbaga they're in control. And that is very, very important for the development of our children. Na kaya nila. That's the feeling that they get when they're playing. That's why we need to encourage a lot of that while they're still young. And you will also get to know your kid more when you see them and observe them play. Diba? Kasi makikita mo kung ano yung interest nila talaga. Diba?
Yes.
You'll get to know them more there. So, that's why please, yung mga may anak na mga bata pa, don't make them sit down too much. Let them play. Let them go around. Let them discover. Let them explore. Because that is very important for their growth. Yeah. There.
Definitely play is really a must in homeschooling, no? And even in parenting, play is really good. Until ngayon, naglalaro pa rin kami ng mga teenagers ko, ate. Hindi nawawala yun. But my question is, kasi syempre, curious yung mga tao, 45 minutes preschool, may natututunan na. But are you a typical growing up, like when they went to grade 2, grade 3? What type of a schedule? Are you a routine mom or a schedule mom? How do you go about to that? Or you're more flexible? How do you do that scenario?
Of course, there's
Kasi
a
ngayon,
routine. Meron ding routine. Kasi children learn best, well, at least at that age, in the morning. Diba? So, I would have that routine, but I would have like, kasi nga dalawa na sila, so we would have activities together and they would have activities apart. Yung ganon. So, yun lang yung ginagawa ko, together and apart. But my schedule was not set in stone. Parang it would be very flexible, depending on the season of your children. So during that time, the mornings were good. That's when they were most awake and most playful, and so, and then the rest of the time, free play na sila. They just we were living in a compound. It used to be our farm, so it was a nice environment for them to just go around and explore. So ganun lang siya. And then I would have, sometimes we would do a 4-day a week where the Friday is fun day. They can choose whatever they whatever schedule they want. So yung I would do something like that. But it was not something that was, like I said, fixed. I would adjust
Okay.
it every so often. Yeah, there.
So you can say that you're a flexible homeschooler. So do you have a certain method like, di ba everybody's into now like Charlotte, like
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
the Waldorf. What did you choose? Or you change or you're more eclectic? How do you define
Eclectic.
your homeschooling?
Eclectic. Kasi during that time nga, 'di ba, wala pang provider, 'di ba? And by some, I would say, stroke of, well, it was orchestrated. I met those who started School of Tomorrow here. Okay, if you know Philippine School of Tomorrow, and they do the
Yeah.
workbook, like the paces
Yeah.
type.
Audience ko po yung paces. Yeah.
Yan yung paces where they finish a certain number of paces for the year, like that. So what I
Yan
did,
yung may 12 modules, no? It's like a
yes,
12
yes,
module.
yeah, per subject. Yeah. So I decided to go with them because it was very teacher friendly, and because I was working also. And then when I saw, parang kasi wala namang perfect curriculum, so I supplemented it. I used Mystery of History. By that
Oh.
was ano, that was how do you call this, recommended to me by my sister Donna, because she also started homeschooling her own kids. So I put a lot of creativity and art because my mom was into art. So we were also mahilig to teach art. So meron din kami noon, pinasok namin yon. And through the years, Nove, I also included life skills because, di ba, it's homeschool. So dapat
Yeah.
merong home, merong school. Diba? So, which means they have responsibilities at home. They have to learn to do certain things at home. And that's their way of training. Kasi ang school matatapos, pero yung house chores, forever yan. Kahit may asawa ka na, may house chores
Yes.
pa rin.
Yes.
Diba? So dapat familiar ka with those things also. So parang that was all part of educating them. It was not only
Yeah.
all academic. Yeah, there.
In your view, ate, did you ever get negative comments ba through the years when people find out that you're homeschooling?
Oo, during that time, di ba laging, paano
Ano,
yung
ano, ano yung mga,
socialization?
anong
Di ba,
negative?
paano yung socialization ng mga anak nyo? Di ba? Parang ganon, di ba? That's always the number one comment, di ba? Kasi feeling nila walang kausap yung mga anak mo or walang natututunan, di ba? But I've learned through the years that social skills begin at home. If you cannot relate with your own sibling, diba, in a manner that is loving and kind and respectful, diba, how can you do it outside? Diba? So you have to learn it at home. Sabi nga nung isang hari, diba, those who walk with the wise become wise. So
Mm.
between bet kumbaga, if my kid was in with other kids, syempre naman I would think na I am wiser than those little kids, 'di ba? So naalala ko nga yung isang preschool teacher na kaibigan ko, kinausap ko talaga, sabi ko, I'm planning to homeschool. What do you think? She's a preschool teacher. Sabi niya, nagulat ako when she said, "Hi, go ahead!" Sabi niya ganyan. Kasi little children can be so cruel. Sabi ba naman niyang ganon? Kasi daw minsan talaga makikita mo na maghahawahan sila ng ugali when they're together a lot. So, parang she was just saying na try to um try to, how do you call this, parang be with your kid and during the formative years, which is 0 to 7 years old, because
Yeah.
that's where they catch certain
Yes.
skills, especially social skills from you. So
Mm.
doon ako na parang I felt that was an affirmation na sige, I will try homeschooling them. So, ganun. And
Ate,
then, oh,
yes. Yung at that time, syempre, hindi naman instant yung mga lahat ng gawain nung time na yun. So how do you manage the household? laundry, yourself, taking care of yourself, taking care of your husband, and the whole household? Anong scenario?
Okay. When the kids were younger, I was blessed to have angels at home.
Mm.
Okay. So that was a blessing because it freed me up from some of the main major chores. Okay. Um, but there was a season wherein wala na akong helper. Okay. And the kids were
Oh.
a little older. Okay. So doon talagang, ano yun, talagang rely on the Lord, you know?
I'm sure.
Cause and I guess it's also a learning time because that's when napuwersa rin my kids to really help and be part of the team, to
It's a
learn.
good problem, ika nga. No?
Yeah, so they all rose up to the occasion. My kids started learning how to cook. They learned how to operate the washing machine. They learned
Yes.
all of these things. So marunong na sila actually. Ang tuksungan sa mga anak ko nun, mga ano na yan, spouse ready. Kumbaga, pwede na daw
Wow.
mag-asawa. Kasi marunong na magluto, marunong na maglaba, marunong na parang ganon. So anyway, I just saw it na lang as training for them, because nga, when we, graduate from school, we will I don't think we will graduate from house chores, diba?
Yes, it's
It's
true.
responsibility.
Until na. Lalo na ngayon, lagi tayo nasa loob ng bahay,
So there was that part wherein we would do that. It was part of their schedule to do certain chores. So, I got to listen to this talk by the dean of freshmen of Stanford University, and she said that there are two things that uh, are very important in terms of the potential success of an individual. And the first is a loving environment, okay, while growing up. And the second is chores, not scores, okay. And the reason why it's chores is because it develops grit. It develops grit in the child. It develops yung parang you're a team player. Okay? You're not yung kayo-kayo lang, isa-isa lang, but you're actually part of a team. And when you go out and work kasi, you will really be collaborating with other people. You will really be part of a team. And if you don't do your part, ma-affect yung iba, 'di ba? So that's something that you can already learn at home.
Oo, may domino effect talaga eh.
Yeah.
Hindi po pwede yun. But yun nga, it should start from us. Hindi mo pwedeng you have to, or you do this, you do that. But if you yourself don't do it, how? You really have to model it. That's really good. Thank you, Ate Felichi. That's really refreshing. But for me, no, syempre, ang dami mong hinomeschool, 4 sila, di ba? How do you stay motivated? Ngayon, nag-homeschool ka ulit, di ba?
Yeah.
So how do you stay motivated? Siyempre, meron kang na-feel at times, siguro season of your life, am I really doing enough? Or, I
Yeah.
mean, do I really teach na? Baka kulang, baka kailangan ko dagdagan. Alam mo yung ganon.
Yeah. Yeah, there will be days like that. But it's good to, number one, to take care of yourself, okay? Kasi if you don't feel good, talagang magsa-spiral down lahat ng thoughts mo, 'di ba? Kasi kumbaga yung mali na lang ang makikita mo, 'di ba?
Tama.
So it's good to take care of yourself. That's one. So self-care, and then you need to focus on what is going right, 'di ba? Kasi then you will, kumbaga ano yun attitude of gratitude, 'di ba? And that makes a
Wow.
very big
Yeah.
difference when you focus on the things that are going right, 'di ba? Yung kumbaga sinulatan ka ng I love you ng anak mo, or nag-apologize siya sa'yo, or whatever. Those are good things, 'di ba? Those are good things, and focus on those things. And it's good to have community. So like,
Mhm.
I was so blessed that my sister also caught on the vision, Donna. So we were like ano ba tawag mo doon?
Partners in crime.
Partners in crime. Oo,
Pero
ganon.
kayong dalawa lang nag-start sa buong pamilya, no, ng homeschool.
Yeah. we tried, we sort of kind of influenced Anthony and Maricel for a year. But that's it. Yeah, that's it. And
Okay.
actually, my brother Kiko wanted to homeschool his kids, but because
Oh,
iba yung
in
calling
time.
niya, yeah. But that's why now I know he's enjoying this pandemic in a sense, because he gets to be with the younger
Oh,
kids
yes.
somehow. So yun. So parang yun, you have to have community. Well, aside from Donna, I had um what we called the brick house gang. Okay,
Mm.
I lived in Antipolo during that time, and I had a group of friends, women who were all homeschooling also, and many of them were using the same curriculum as I was. So it was good to be able to share best practices, yung ganon, di ba? Tapos what works and what doesn't work. So that helps. That helps a lot na meron kayong kasama na nagbabiyahe, di ba? Para magtulungan kayo. Yon. So you can't do it na ikaw lang mag-isa. That I would say. You can't be a lone ranger. You need,
Totoo. Kasi siyempre, during your meltdowns, who do
yeah,
you talk to? 'Di ba? Hindi ka naman laging okay.
yeah,
And with all, actually, homeschooling is, there's always change every day, no?
mhm,
Hindi mo masasabi na I'm in control of what's gonna happen today. Hindi
yeah,
talaga gano'n, eh, no?
yeah,
Hindi hindi gano'n. So, kailangan talaga nating embrace. But when you talk to someone and, importante that you can, filter your mind and your heart and you're gonna talk to someone that you can trust other than your spouse.
yeah.
Siyempre, importante yon. So, thank you so much for that. Okay, ate.
Do they have questions? Baka naman the
Oo
people have.
nga. Yun na yung gusto kong sabihin. Audience, do you have questions? Chores, not scores. So, may mga comment. Love it. Looking forward to Maricel Pangilinan talk din, if ever. Tapos sabi ni Nessa Nika, ang dami kong natutunan. Thank you. So, if you have any questions, Ken Lo, Mary Grace Mina, Pierre Rubio Zamora. I'm discovering myself too. Okay, ang gaganda ng mga comments nila. So if you have any questions, feel free to give us those questions, especially for Ate Felichi. Okay. So habang wala pa, nag-iisip pa sila. So ate, if syempre nung lumalaki sila, and then you decided, how do you handle yung pag mag-high school na sila? And then,
Ayun.
syempre, iba na yung academic level eh. Syempre, may mga parents na sinasabi na, parang hindi ko ata kayang magturo. Ipupush ko ba to? How do you gauge that? How do you decide? Do you decide yearly? Or how do you manage your high school? Sige, Iso, later I'm gonna ask your question.
I found freedom in committing a year at a time. Okay? Kasi, 'di ba, pag inisip mo yung long haul, talagang, kaya ko ba 'to? 'Di ba? Kaya ko ba 'to? 'Di ba? Ganon. Kasi, ang dami nila, 'di ba?
Oo
So,
nga.
you can get really tired. But if you commit 1 year at a time, at least you know na, sige, after this year, pag-isipan natin. Parang ganon, di ba? So, meron kang option. Okay. But in our case, kasi my husband and I don't know why, but we decided that we would release them in high school. Siguro we felt that it would be a good time for them to develop relationships or have friends, ganyan. So, that was a decision that we made. But in terms of your question kasi, it's more of like, kaya mo bang ituro, I think one of the best things in homeschooling is you're able to teach your children to be motivated. Yung meron silang self-motivation na pagdating nila ng higher years, minsan sila na lang very independent na yung learning nila. They need you less. Diba?
Yeah.
Yung ganun. So
Dapat ganon.
so that's what makes it amazing. Kasi I think one of the upsides of the curriculum that we chose was they had goals. They had goals that were set, daily goals, okay? And by accomplishing those goals, alam nila they're making progress, okay?
Yeah.
And so eventually, yung habit na yon, natutunan na nila as they grew older na they have to set goals, They have to measure what they want to achieve for the day, yung ganon. So, naiiwan ko na sila. They're able to do it on their own unless they have maybe questions on certain areas, then that's what you address. Pero hindi ka na yung naka-hover na parang helicopter, hindi na ganon.
Ate, mayroong question dito. Okay. From Iso, Austria, Agulo. Hazel, can you highlight that question? Learning so much, how do you manage teaching multi-levels? Ayan, maganda yan.
Okay. In terms of teaching multi-level, diba I told you a while ago, there are activities they do as a group. Okay? So, for example, we're learning the water cycle, for example, no? So, andyan yung iba't ibang ages nila, diba? After you learn, after you talk about it and you teach the lesson, they will have separate activities. Yung activities nila, age appropriate na. Okay? Hindi parehong, yung ginagawa ng grade 5, iba dun sa ginagawa ng preschooler, So those are the things that you can do. You have to adapt an age-appropriate activity that is related to the lesson. Ang maganda, merong mga curriculum that already show you yung multi-level talaga, like the mystery of history. They have for older kids and for younger kids. After the lesson, ito yung pwedeng gawin ng older kids, ito yung pwedeng gawin ng younger kids. Diba ganon? Tapos, me kasi, my kids were not sunod-sunod. They were 2 older ones, and then after 6 years, there were 2 younger ones. Okay? And because of that, parang ang nangyari, yung 2 older ones, they rose to the occasion and they would teach the 2 younger ones whenever I'm not available. They were there to guide and to show. And my eldest was very artistic, so many of the art lessons of the little ones, she was the one already doing it. You see? So, makikita mo yung parang everybody was helping as everybody was learning together. Yon. So, then, yun nga, bale, you have to identify sino ba mga members ng team mo, 'di ba? Sino bang members ng team mo, and then you communicate to them the needs of the group, because there are people who will rise to the occasion to help also if you have lots of kids.
Oh, 'di ba ate, ang maganda nga doon yun nga. I still remember yung pag wala kami ni Chinky, pwede magturo yung older kids mo. To your younger kids. Nakakatuwa yun kasi hindi mo siya pinlano pero nangyayari, no? And it's natural for them to be able to teach others as well. And that's also a skill, di ba? That's also a skill that we can be able to instill to them. Okay, si Mary Grace o Shababa, how do you instill the love of the Lord to your kids from toddler to teenager?
Okay. I can remember in Deuteronomy, diba, chapter 6, there's a verse there that tells the Lord is telling you to love Him with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength.
Yeah.
And then after you love Him with your soul and your strength and your mind and your heart, He tells you to impress it upon your children.
Yeah.
Meaning, we cannot give what we don't have.
Yes.
What is within our control? Our relationship with God is within our control. Therefore, let's focus on our intimacy, growing deeper in our relationship with the Lord. Because when that happens, then He will enable us to instill, that love in our kids. Diba? Kasi kung love mo si Lord, diba, you would want to know more about Him. You will spend time praying. You will reflect His image. You will be a gentle mother. You will, if you love Him, that's how makikita yung love mo, diba? Based on how you act and how you respond to your children. And what they see, they will catch. Diba? What they see, they will catch. Mahirapan silang, they will not love the Lord if they don't see you loving the Lord. Diba? So, talagang it starts with you and what you can control. Yun. I don't know. Maybe, Novi, you have something else
No, but I love what you said. Control, di ba? Control the controllables. Kailangan ma-identify mo yun. Kasi there are things na talagang si God lang pwedeng gumawa eh. Si God lang talaga ang pwedeng, I realize in this journey, ate, is mas mahal pala talaga ni God ang mga anak natin kaysa sa atin. So, meron tayong mga expectation na gusto nating mangyari, na akala natin, we're in our mindset, maybe the way we were brought up. But, yung plans pa rin ni God ang ang maha-highlight, hindi yung tayo kung ano yung gusto natin. But then again, the change start within us. Before our kids will be able to, you know, hopefully imitate that, hopefully. Pero hindi pwede sa timeline natin. Yun yung sinasabi mong yung control, hindi natin control yun, sila yun. So ito maganda rito ate, si Zinia Bautista Diang. We are OFW from UAE. Asan yun, Hazel? And we will start homeschooling this October. Sa school tomorrow kasi October 5 ate ang start. Our kids are incoming year 1, grade 1 and grade 4. What do you suggest if I come across a lesson that I can't really teach effectively? Yon, yung kumbaga, hindi niya forte.
Okay. She's also with School of Tomorrow. Okay. Then I think you should ask for help. If it's not your forte, because there are other, like, yung maganda sa community, no? Many moms or dads have their own also forte, and some are really willing to help out. So if there was a community, if you belong to a community, then maybe you can find out who are the magaling sa physics or magaling sa algebra, and then you kind of like connect. That's what you call networking, diba? So
Yes.
so that you can provide what your children need in terms guidance in terms of those particular subjects. Because it's a fact, we don't know everything. There will be areas of strength and there will also be areas of weakness, and so we just humble ourselves and ask for help, diba? So
It's true. In my time, ate, pag ganun, we try, like, I have a sister-in-law, hindi niya kaya to, nagsaswap kami, ito ituro mo sa anak ko, business. Ako magtuturo sa anak mo ng ganun. Pwede yun eh.
yeah.
You swap, no? You swap by asking help kung hindi mo kayang ituro yung certain area. That's good. Thank you so much. Very practical. From Pauline Angela, what's your advice po to new homeschool parents who are in low mid-range income? Yung hindi sila maka-enroll ng classes like in music or in sports. Kasi nga, syempre ate, this time of pandemic, di ba? Maybe they wanted to hone the talents of the kids, kaya nang wala silang extra money to enroll the kids.
Naku, there's so many online art ideas that you can find. You could just,
And it's for free, no?
yeah, it's for free. There are a lot online that you can rely on in terms of if it's extracurricular, and then also sports. I'm not a sporty person, but I've been doing physical fitness, just using videos online. So these are some of the things that you can do. And wait, did she mention how old her kids were?
Hindi sinabi eh. Ni
Sinabi.
Pauline, hindi sinabi ah.
Yeah. So, ang feeling ko dyan, if you have that desire, magkakaroon ng opportunity. But you also need to go and research and find if there's anything online that you can, because that's the most immediate. And since you're home, diba, that's the most immediate resource for you at this time. But then again, if you have community, there's also, diba, there will be, as well, diba? If I can teach music, I'll teach music to kids, or if there's someone who's sporty, he can teach sports, diba? So, pwede rin yun. Ganun din.
Alam mo, ako sinasabay ko yung mga anak ko sa sports.
O, yun.
Sinasabay ko.
You can also ask your kids, actually. They might have
kung anong gusto nila.
Oo, they might have ideas na bigla na lang, meron silang inspiration. Minsan,
magugulat ka na lang.
Yeah.
So, okay, last question for the audience kasi madami pa akong tanong kay ate, dalawang wow, ang ganda ng mga discussion natin. What do you do if a kid doesn't like to learn a certain topic? Example, multiplication and division. Yan ang mga challenge sa math.
Okay. Okay, I don't know if this will work, no? But what you do is, kasi the thing is, sa bata, if the lesson is relevant to them, they'll be interested. Like for example, I remember there were drills. My child had to do drills, and ayaw na ayaw niya yung drill sa math. Okay, so what I did was I would change the names. Let's say in a math problem, instead of the names that were there, I would change it to the names of her cousins, or people that she knew, or her yayas, or talagang make it more familiar to her. Minsan mga favorite superheroes, pinapalitan ko, para parang medyo mas interesting. And then sometimes I would really make it funny. I'm sorry, but sometimes I like humor, to add humor to my homeschooling. So, for example, lalagay ko doon, okay, 6, they'll do different equations. So, sabihin ko, sige, ilang beses na nabusted si ganyan. Okay? So, they're going to multiply.
Ate, hindi ko alam kung alam nila yung the word busted.
Okay, sorry. Ibig sabihin. Okay. No, iba na lang. Or kung basta those things, I would think of funny things, that they will multiply because they need to find out, For example, if it's, let's say, how many enemies does Batman have, or against Superman, they like it because they're able to relate with the topic. Ganon. So baka ganun lang, you just have to tweak it lang and they might be able to enjoy the lesson.
Ang galing. I totally agree. So, parang sinasabi ni Alice, you make personalize it, something near home to the child. No, na may intindihan niya on that level. Kasi nga, like, may mga mindset, di ba, na parang hirap-hirap talaga turo, lalo na yung math, no? But creativity, yan. Creativity is really a big factor. Okay. Oh, last na lang Arian, Owen, Ziggy. Hazel, can you highlight that? How can a full-time working single mother cope up with homeschooling 2 high school students?
Wow.
Wow.
Full-time.
I think this is important, yeah.
Yeah.
Single siya.
I wonder if this is a quarantine homeschooling or if you had homeschooled them from the start. If you had homeschooled them from the start, then it would be different because I would presume that they would have developed certain disciplines already. Now, if this is quarantine homeschooling, then is this online? If this is online, kasi kung wala kang ibang I don't know who else is part of your team, diba? Is it just you and the 2 at home? Or are your parents? Are you with your parents? Or first time homeschooler sila? Okay, so I don't know if you can rely on someone to look after those 2, or are they on their own? Do you leave them on their own at home? I guess you should do goals maybe that might work. You give them goals para pag uwi mo, makikita mo kung natapos nila yung dapat nilang gawin, diba? And then if you can have a strong develop a strong relationship with their teachers, if this is online, so you can dialogue with the teachers a lot because nga you're not around, diba?
Yes.
So that would be good if you could have a good relationship with the teachers so that whatever feedback na kailangan mo, you can get it from them there. So I think that
Arian said, first time homeschooler siya, we only have a house help.
Yeah. So then you could also partner with your house help. I don't know what your worry is. I don't know if you're worried that they are not doing it or if they are doing it and they need guidance. So you could also partner with maybe yung best yung teacher di ba no? Kasi if there's nobody else at home, you will have to have a better communication relationship with the teacher.
If this is remote learning, but if it's purely homeschooling, yung sinasabi ni Ate Felici a while ago, you really have to be intentional and ask for help.
Yeah.
Meaning, be in a community na the same level ng mga anak mo para maengganyo, they can also be able to, gauge the rhythm of how it's like shadowing. Parang, how can I say this? You shadow, syempre pag alam ni yung kamag-anak na ganito, nakakilala ng anak mo, na pareho kayo nag-homeschooling sabay, mas nakaka-encourage, iba lalo na pag teenagers ate, di ba?
Yeah.
Yung mas importante kung meron kang community or some families or relative na kasing edad ng mga anak mo that you could be able to, sabay kayo mag-homeschool, sabay rin kayo mag-learn. Kasi October pa naman daw siya magsa-start.
Yeah. Yeah.
So look
Or
for
you,
that.
yeah, then it's good for you to find someone who can be part of your team. Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe also develop the habit of, well, you'll have to sit down with them on weekends, find out what they're supposed to cover, so
Yes.
at least you know na dapat ito yung i-cover nyo for this particular period, so that at least alam ng children mo that mom knows what I'm
Yeah.
supposed to cover.
It's
And
true.
yeah, something like that.
So
Accountability.
I'm not sure kasi kung anong requirement nung provider mo or nung school. 'Di ba? Depende yun. So I think dapat din you as a parent need to ask for a checklist from the teacher, 'di ba? Of what needs to be done in a week.
Yeah.
So that may pacing, no? I would really advise Arian, start slow. Try to understand yourself and understand your kids as well. And they will really be helpful if they know where you're coming from. And you also know where they're coming from.
Siguro kausapin din niya yung teacher and sabihin
Oo.
niya kung ano yung sitwasyon niya.
Tama.
Ganito ang situation ko, paano niyo ako matutulungan? At
Good, good.
diba? That would also be good.
Ako ate, ang dami questions. Okay, last na talaga to ha. Late show. Were you worried of learning gaps then? Ayan, learning gaps daw.
Okay. Well, because I was with a curriculum provider, I wasn't so worried about learning gaps, kasi we were covering, a certain curriculum for every year, So, but there were times, I must confess, there were years wherein, like, for example, a relative of mine passed away, or, we moved house, so that affected our homeschooling a lot, and sometimes I would really, yun na nga, yung sinasabi ni Novean earlier na, am I teaching them enough, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing and everything. I would probably spend a few minutes feeling bad, but the key is to keep going. Diba? Sabi ko nga we shall reap if we faint not. Okay, so just kept going, and then at that time, I have to share this with you. At that time, our curriculum provider was not accredited by DepEd at that time. So when I decided to bring them to regular school, we had to take the DepEd test, the placement test. Okay, and when we took the placement test, I was so afraid, because I said, ayan na, lalabas na yung learning gaps, lalabas na. Yung parang ganon, I was, a little scared and everything. But at the same time, I was really just relying on the Lord and on the promise that we will reap if we faint not. Okay, so when they took their tests, I was amazed because they were qualified to enroll in a level higher than what we were planning to enroll them, you see. So which means it was grace, talagang nagulat ako because they were being given an opportunity to enroll in a level higher. But I was more conservative, so I didn't go that path. I just let them go to the level that I felt that was good for them. But the fact that we were validated by that test, that as long as you continue to do your best, if just keep, continue. That's the key. Kumbaga, there will be bad days, but you gotta get up again, di ba? And go forward, di ba? So, you shall reap if you don't faint.
Wow. Galing, galing. Thank you for that, ate. Now, my question. Hindi ko na maano yung iba dahil sobrang dami. Kulang tayo sa oras. But, what would you do differently if you had to do it all over again?
Ah, I would probably spend less time in work.
Okay, okay.
My children. Yeah, well, but that's one, and I think one would be more collaborative work. Kasi once they go to regular school, they will be having group work. Okay, and this was a sort of like a common problem. They would come home and say, "Mom, not everybody wants to work." You know, yung ganon, diba? So parang you train your kids to do their best and to, put in what they can, but they get into a group where not everybody has the same mindset. Okay, so how do they adjust to that? So maybe it's good while you're still homeschooling them is you give them situations wherein they have collaborative work. Although they work together as siblings, iba yung dynamics eh. Kasi
Tama.
nagkakaintindihan sila, they love each other, yung ganon. So, iba yung dynamics when they're put into a group na they don't know the members, diba? So,
I agree with that, no? It's like exercising more of their critical thinking and problem-solving process, no? I love that. Totoo, ako rin. Ganun din ako. Pero ito, ate, what do you think? This is my second to the last. How will I know if I am a successful homeschooler?
I don't know. Know if you are a successful
What
homeschooler.
what do you think?
Hmm, I guess if my definition is that I will raise children who love God, diba? It's really time will tell, diba? And if your children will remain and will abide and will continue to love the Lord,
Yeah.
and I'm thankful that at this point, my children are positive contributors to society, at least the
Yes.
ones that I have already released to society. Okay,
Mm.
so I am very grateful and thankful for that. I only receive good feedback from their employers, and I'm so so thankful for that. And siguro, kasi I don't want to put the I don't want to get the glory, no, Vean. It's really God who
Yes.
really naiiyak tuloy ako, na through the
Oh.
years, it's really His faithfulness, really. Yeah.
Oh, ate, I honor you. Thank you so much for just sharing your life. Thank you. And definitely what you have planted to your kids and the prayers and
Yeah.
all the sacrifice are all worth it. Thank you so much for being a model to us. Thank you. Okay, last na lang ate. Like now the situation is the quarantine homeschooling and most of the parents here are really forced accidental homeschooling, quarantine homeschooling. What can you advise them? Maybe last two thoughts or one thought that you could be able to leave to our parents right now.
Um, you know, this is an opportunity for you to strengthen family relations, because you have no choice. You have to be with each other. Diba? So don't waste that opportunity. Kung meron kayong mga hidwaan or, you know, make an effort to reconcile and to make it right. Because family is, everything, kumbaga, it's sabi nga nila, it's the foundation, 'di ba? So if you can strengthen that, during this time by communicating, trying to connect with your children rather than correcting them all the time,
Yes, yes.
it's I read that affirmation is actually a better educator than correction. So get to know your children, get to know their strengths and affirm them, diba? And heal those relationships that need to be healed. Um, Pray together. You know, these are, you have that opportunity. Make the most of it. Yeah.
Wow, so beautiful, ate. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. A
Yes.
very mouthful conversation with you. Wow, thank you so much. I'm also refreshed. But
Yes.
yeah, meron kaya announce sa atin?
Oh yes.
Please share with us.
One of the things that I think I was sabi ko ano no, play based. Ito yung curriculum na sinulat ni Donna, my sister Donna Simpao, and her good friend Liana. And they Liana is a professional early child teacher, and this curriculum is play based. Okay, it is for preschoolers to age 2 to 4, although I would say you could make it until 6 years old. Pero ang gaganda po ng mga lessons dito. It's good for a whole year, and you're gonna it explores many disciplines: math, science, social studies, um, even Filipino. They have part there. You know, meron silang culture aspect there. So try to get a hold of this. It's a kid starter. Just go to their website. You can order this from them. That's for preschoolers there. And then I also want to invite you to this seminar called Positive Speech and Connecting with Your Child. You know, if there's anything that the Lord has taught me as I homeschool the children, it's really to watch my tongue, okay? To watch my words and to use it to build them up and not to bruise them or break them. So if you want to learn, you know, ways on how you can engage with your children in a more positive way, please join me in this seminar on October 9 there.
Thank you so much, ate.
Okay.
Okay, parents, this is worth investment. Please, we avail of that. Ate, may website ba doon, no? Positive Speech.
Positive
Connecting.
speech and connecting
Meron ka
with your
bang link that we can put? Maybe we can put
uh,
it in private chat so that Hazel can put it.
okay,
So
okay.
that we can put it in the messages with the link that they
See,
can sign up. Naku po, worth it. Of all investment, alam kong madami tayong webinars, but this is really crucial ha, what there are spoken words. Every
yes,
day yan.
yes.
So, sobra pong importante yan. So, please attend
I will
Ate
just
Felici Seminar. That's October 9. Okay. Maganda
yes,
yan. Nagsa-start pa lang po ang nationwide schooling natin sa October 5 to prepare you, madams and fathers. Okay?
yes. Thanks,
Okay.
Nove, for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yan, Business Works Incorporated in
Yes,
Facebook po.
their
Please.
Facebook page. Yes.
Yes. And please follow na nilalagay naman po namin dun sa signage namin a while ago, no, sa tag, na please follow Ate Felici and Ate Donna's Facebook, yung Let's Talk with Felici and Donna. Naku po, madami po tayo matututunan dyan. Also, wala kay Instagram, no? But they also have personal Facebook din po with Ate Felici.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ate. Sobrang madaming wisdom na naituro mo sa amin today. Thank you so much. We really need to hear that. Okay, I will see you later. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, don't leave yet. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Ay, grabe, no? Nakakatuwa. Dami kong take home, but one of the things that really refreshes me that I've learned from Ate Felici is talagang, you know, healing in this time of quarantine. Na no matter what, alam ko parang hirap, di ba? Alam ko na-exercise po ang ating mga relationship sa loob ng bahay. All those quarantine homeschooling or accidental homeschoolers, I know it's really hard, but again, I just have to remind you, you have to be intentional with your relationship. It's not even the academics. Our responses, our attitude, is more important than all of those scenarios of structure on what to teach. Okay? But the goal is really, let's desire healing relationship rather than all of this. Kasi pag healed po ang relationship natin, all of the things that we plan, like academics and such, will follow along the way. So thank you so much, Ate Felici, for teaching us that reminder. Thank you so much. Okay, announcement. Okay, yan. Nilagay na po namin ang link, bit.ly, okay, /BW Positive Speech. And this coming Friday, which is September 25, grabe, matatapos na ang September, mag-October na, is, as you can see in iHomeschool PH, as much as possible, I really want to be holistic in our contents. Before, remember, I invited Dr. Tito Almadin regarding mental health. Now, I've invited Coach Angelo and Pepper Lozada, September 24. Is your homeschooling healthy? So that's the question. So these are physical fitness, BitFit couple, and also homeschooling. How they were able to inject. Kasi importante po yan. Nako, number one na po na essential sa buhay natin. Hindi lang nag-homeschool sa ating mga pamilya. Okay? Is your homeschooling healthy with Coach Angelo and Pepper Lozada? Okay. Please invite your friends and be with us September 25, 8 p.m. live po sa Facebook and YouTube. Next. Okay, tuloy pa rin po hanggang October 2 ang ating Quipper Scholarship. If you are, having a hard time with Filipino and Araling Palipunan, maganda po ito. We are choosing to just go to our YouTube account and watch and do the mechanics. Post the picture of the episode and then follow and tag and paste the hashtag and tell us why you need this scholarship. The more likes, the more chances of winning. Next. And if you want to get the Quipper, ito pong maganda dito sa Quipper, you just have to tell them, I homeschool PH, and you can be able to avail their services. Kasi pag kinuha nyo po ang Quipper, dapat nasa eskwelahan eh. But we have the opportunity to partner with them. If you just say, I homeschool PH, they're gonna give you a very ridiculous discount for the whole program po. It's like, grabe lang. Basta may excite kayo. Just give the code, I homeschool PH code, and they will give you a great discount for the whole program. And thank you so much for all the people who have subscribed to my Spotify or our podcast. Please scan this and you will be able to visit my podcast. I homeschool, how to do it without losing your mind. Anong meron po dyan? I do read aloud. I also do answer your questions. I also have monthly talks with no filter talks conversation with Jihan and Avik, tatlong hari, my good friends. And also, I also tell my mistakes in this podcast. Kasi I believe when you learn from your mistakes, hindi nyo na po magagawa yon. So, please visit for our audio learners, parents, and kids. Next. Okay, frequently asked questions. Lahat po ng content na ginagawa po namin, nakapin po yan sa taas ng Facebook. Kasi nga po, inuulit ko po a while ago, na pag sa Facebook, nalulunod siya eh. So pag sa YouTube, when you click it, nandyan po lahat ng topics na gusto nyo about homeschooling and parenting. Next. Please continue to follow if you think that we are beneficial to you in our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube account. And TikTok, marami pong salamat. We are more than 20,000 followers there. Thank you so much. Hindi ko sukat akalain na train din po ako on how to teach everyone in 1 minute. Now, they have given me 3 minutes. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we still continue with our pag-asa sa pagbasa. If you have used and unused materials, school supplies, please donate sa pag-asa sa pagbasa in our Instagram. You can direct message us Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter in cooperation with Philippine Homeschool Association, Book Hug, Library, and Janet Suson, and Ballet Bar. And if you want to immediately contact me, you can contact me in Viber. Meron tayong group doon, 200 members na po. You can scan this and be with us. And I shared na sa mga freebies, mga DepEd policies. Yan po sa Viber account po natin. Maraming pong salamat. And if you want to know more about homeschooling, you can buy my book, physical book, and digital book. Visit iHomeschool.ph to order. And when you get this, you will have free organizers, student, and the teacher organizer for free. Marami pong salamat sa lahat ng suporta. Ang goal lang naman po dito is to be able to plant the seed in your hearts and hopefully makatulong po sa inyong homeschool journey. Always remember, in homeschooling, relationship is more important than academics. Ako po si Novi Tan, ang inyong homeschool coach, and I homeschool. Bye! Have a great week! Be safe, be healthy, everyone!